intriguing playmaker for international boxing news. I'm joined by the Tower, Demsey McKean. Dempsey, how are you today, mate?
I'm going good, mate. Just finished a good session with Tony. You know, training hard, working towards a fight date. Hopefully, have some announcement soon. So
perfect. Obviously, the gym's flying at the moment. Kind of, how is it at the moment to be training? Not only Tony Sims, obviously get into it in a minute, but also Jordan Thompson's just joined the gym. You've got the younger guys, Jimmy Sainz, George Dillard, Maisie as well. What's the vibe in the gym like at the moment?
It's good. It's a busy time of year. You know, obviously we just had the Christmas break, so everyone kind of had like a little bit of time off. But you know, this last week we've had Craig Richards come back. He got quite ill recently as well. He had to pull out for one of his fights. Joe Cordina's just come over from Wales as well, working towards his world title fight. You know, Conor Ben will be due back soon, shortly. Myself, and then Jordan Thompson, and obviously, you know, John Ryder. He's potentially fighting Canelo soon as well. So we're on the fringe of some massive fights at the moment. You know, the gym's buzzing. It's good. We're all in, trained alongside each other, and you know, these guys are all the elite of their division. So it means a lot to be able to train with them, and then train under Tony Sims. You know, he's a great trainer and just a great gym, and it's a good vibe here all the time. It's always a good vibe. So
definitely, and obviously the gym is flying at the moment. We might as well get straight into it, Dempsey. Obviously, yesterday you were the talk of Twitter, as I said before the interview was rolling. Adam Cattrall and then IFL tweeted that you are the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua on April 1st at the O2. Kind of how much truth is in there? Obviously, Eddie said that you're one of the names. Is that probably more factual than the finalised opponent?
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of the front runners for this fight. You know, so hopefully this can be made. Obviously, it's a life-changing fight for myself. You know, a win here could do amazing things for my career, set myself and my family up. I could potentially be a win off a world title fight. So it's massive. The only thing that could be holding us back is being a southpaw. You know, we know AJ probably wants to fight an orthodox. He's probably over fighting us southpaws. But you know, with a southpaw champion, these guys should be testing themselves and wanting to fight the southpaws on their way. And he's got so much of the long game in him as well. We were so close to making the fight with Dillian White as well, and we got to the contractual agreement, getting the contract written up, and then he signed with a new coach, and he didn't want to fight a southpaw. So, you know, these guys are supposed to be the lead of the game, and I've been on the fringe of some massive fights recently, and they've all kind of fallen through because I'm a southpaw, which is a pretty poor excuse if you ask me as well. You know, we're in the fight game, we're all trying to be the best, but because of a stance, certain people don't want to take certain fights. So hopefully AJ can, you know, man up, as you say, and take this fight against another southpaw. So
I hope so. Obviously, like, going back to that, obviously you mentioned to ID Boxing that kind of Dillian White fight. I think you said it was 75% nearly done. How frustrating is that? Like, you just, like you said, because of your stance. How frustrating is that when a fight, obviously at that magnitude as well, falls through?
Like I said, I've been on the fringe of some big fights, you know, for a couple of years now. We've been in talks. We even come close to Tyson Fury fight one time when he didn't want to fight the Deontay Wilder fight. You know, I got into like a top 2, top 3 pick for that fight years ago, and you know, I've been in talks with Dillian White and AJ and some big names, you know, and to fall through and get so close and then to fall through, you know, I'm just waiting for my time to show the world this is where I belong. I belong at that top level, you know, and I've said in past interviews, until I be one of these reputable names, I'm not going to get the respect in that heavyweight division. So I'm just waiting. I've been waiting for a while, and hopefully this big fight comes through and I get to show everyone my skills, you know, on that top level. So
perfect. And kind of obviously that is a huge fight for your career, should it be made, obviously. What does that fight do for your career going forward?
It only does better, you know. So a win there, which I'm very confident in this fight too. Yeah, I've been part of AJ's camps twice before. I've given him good hard rounds. I know the level I'm at. I know it's only sparring, it's not a fight, but I always perform better than I spar as well. So I'd go into that fight very confident. It's a massive step up, I know that, from the competition that I have fought, but you know, you have to test yourself. We're all in this game to be the best, and to be the best, you've got to beat the best. That's what they say, you know, simple as that. So it would do wonders. It would, you know, obviously a career-defining payday as well, and a big win here. Even, God forbid, if I didn't win, if I perform good, it's still a massive future for me as well. I've still got big fights lined up after that. But I'll tell you what, I'll win that fight, and I'll be surprised if it goes to the points. So
100%, and obviously, like you said, God forbid the decision didn't go your way, your stock would rise inevitably. Obviously, even if you had a performance, look at Otto Warling against Tyson Fury, it didn't really seem like he did lose to Tyson Fury, because his name was talked about enough. I think he's also probably one of the other names, him with AJ, like your name has been as well. Kind of, obviously, Tony obviously well documented that he's worked with AJ before, kind of the main fight was the Dillian White fights, and then the Klitschko fight with Rob McCracken as well. Does Tony working with AJ in the past give you a bit of a competitive edge in that fight?
I think so, definitely. He knows AJ, mate. He trained him for 4 years. He's trained under the Matchroom gym and under Tony. So, you know, and Tony was only saying he was talking to AJ last week, and AJ was supposed to pop into the gym and catch up, but he hasn't heard from him since all this stuff's been leaked. So I can see why he doesn't want to pop into the gym. So, but that's a massive edge, you know. Like, he's trained him, he knows him inside and out. Probably knows what makes him tick, and his mental game and physical attributes and skills as well. So, and Tony's a mastermind when it comes to fights too. But he's got that attention to detail where he can pick things up. He's very technical, game plan down to a T. So, you know, he'll come up with a great game plan to be able to beat AJ, that's for sure. So
definitely, I think there's a reason why world-class fighters have been produced in this gym. You've had countless amount of people winning world titles in this gym. So,
yeah,
and that's all credit to Tony.
Definitely.
And obviously, subsequently, like, if you didn't get that fight, kind of, there are a lot of dates scheduled in the Matchroom schedule. Kind of, obviously, Lee Wood announced February 18th, February 25th as well, March 11th, and then April 1st. Is April 1st the day you're working towards regardless?
Yeah, look, we'll be ready by March, end of March, April. We're looking forward towards those dates. Obviously, April would be ideal. We're back into it. It's still a long way off, you know. So even March, mid-March, end of March, that's a date we'll be happy to kind of take. But April works well, but have to see what happens. This is why I just got to stay in the gym, stay fit, stay ready, and yeah, once we get a date, we'll be ready to go.
Perfect. And obviously, moving on to a bit of a reflection now. Obviously, you had a very significant 2022 in your career. Obviously, two wins in 2 fights. Obviously, relocated to the UK with Tony Sims. How will you, when your career seems to, we're a long way off this moment, then to like, when your career's all done, how will you look back on 2022?
How will I look back on 2022?
Yeah.
It's a starting point. Like, not many people know what I've kind of sacrificed and given up. You know, I've moved to the other side of the world. I've spent a lot of money to move here. I've given up everything. You know, I've taken a shot at this as well. If this doesn't work out, I'm pretty much done. You know, I go back. And but at least I can say, regardless, in 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10 years, whatever, at least I can say I took a shot. You know, I took a stab at it. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But as long as I'm putting my heart and soul into this and 100%, training my ass off and keep winning these fights, mate, like, I'm going to get there. Like I said, I'm on the fringe right now. On the fringe of some big fights. So for me to be able to take my career to the next step, I had to move over here to the UK. You know, the sparring, we don't have the sparring in Australia. You know, to be around these top level fighters and to be able to get the sparring I get, you know, my career has taken off. You know, I've had 3 fights since I left Australia. I had one in America, which I didn't really have a proper trainer for. I was trained with Tony for 2 weeks. I was an AJ camp, Dillian White, so I was all over the place, and obviously the 2 full camps under Tony. So yeah, I've improved every fight. So the next one I'm going to improve even more in the fight after that, and then yeah, we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Well, touch on it a little bit there. Kind of, obviously we've seen Ebony Bridges do the same. Sky Nicholson. How difficult was it relocating from the UK? Was there any specific difficulties doing that?
Not really. So, like, obviously Australia come under the Commonwealth of the UK, so it's quite easy to come over. So in the middle of getting my sporting visa at the moment with Matchroom, so not too hard at all. My partner is actually originally from West London, so she's British, so I kind of made the move a little bit easier, you know. So kind of slotted straight in, and she helped out a lot, and she's got networks and connections in her family here, which made it a lot better. So obviously I'm not too lonely over here. I've still got plenty of people here that I see, and which does make it a lot easier, you know. And obviously with a good partner at home and holding things down and doing a lot of the behind the scenes work, it definitely does make things easier. So, but no, it's good. I just wish I made this move earlier, you know. So I come over during COVID. You know, we had to get government. Actually, it was quite hard. So I should say we had to get government approvals and visas to be able to leave during COVID, because no one was allowed to leave Australia at the time. So we had to get letters from Matchroom and lawyers and the IBF and WBO stating that if I don't, get out of Australia and move over there, we could lose our world rankings. So, but once we're here, it was easy, you know. So now we're here and things have settled down a little bit. So it's good.
Perfect. And obviously, kind of, you fought in Australia before, as you mentioned. Kind of, was it a bit more special, signing the deal with Matchroom, and Matchroom doing the first show over there with Liam Paro, Jarvis headlining? Was that a particularly special moment as well?
It is. Like I said, I'm born in Ipswich, which is about 30-40 minutes outside of Brisbane. So Brisbane's pretty much my second backyard. So it was good. I had a nice loud crowd there. I had a really big reception there for the Matchroom's debut card out in Australia. So that was big. And then to obviously co-main event that alongside my stablemate Liam Paro. It was big, it was good, and it's a big deal getting signed by Matchroom. You know, they're the biggest promotion in the world. They're doing massive things at the moment. They're going global. So to be able to have those guys invest in me, it means a great deal.
Perfect. And kind of, obviously, as you said, we had those 2 fights. Obviously, there was 2 full camps. How has he improved your game, obviously, going into what will be your 23rd fight as well?
Working a lot of rotation, like I said, he's very technical. I never had such a technical coach. We'll do something, we'll drill it until I get it right. We don't move past it, which is good. You know, when I first come here, I was like, it's a bit monotonous and felt like a novice again. But that's good. You know, coming into a new gym and surrounded by all these champions, and you know, I feel like I've started from scratch again. So we're building, we're improving. As long as I keep improving, it's good. We're rotating on shots and delivering a lot more power, and just understanding things a lot more and why we're doing them. So you know, I didn't have an amateur pedigree. I had 0 amateur fights at all. I took a professional boxing fighter on a day's notice, so I'm quite green compared to a lot of these guys. I've been boxing since a young age and had hundreds of amateur fights. You know, I only had 4 MMA fights and 4 Muay Thai fights before I'd done boxing. So not a big combat record, you know. So I'm like a sponge. I'm absorbing everything, and I'm trying to take as much in as possible. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the future.
Definitely, and also watching you on the heavy bag this morning. Definitely, I'd rather be watching you on the heavy bag in the ring with you.
The bag don't hit back though, so yeah,
very true.
You know what they say.
Very true. I say that to myself when I'm doing the heavy bag.
Yeah.
My final question, Demsey. Thank you for your time today.
No worries.
What does boxing mean to you?
It means a lot to me. You know, it gives me discipline. It gives me a lot of respect for the sport. It gives me something to work towards. I'm one of those people. I need a goal. I need something to work towards. It keeps me fit. It does so many things for me. Like all hold up in a ball as well. And you know, I love winning. I've always been a very sporty kid. I've always been playing sports, rugby league, rugby union since the age of 6. Tennis, swimming. I've done a lot of sports. So I love the feeling of winning. I like pushing myself as well. It's just the mental thing, the physical thing. I like feeling good, feeling strong. Yeah, it's just like, it's hard to say what it does for you in one thing. It's many things. And I think if every child done a bit of boxing or martial arts in their life, the world would be a better place. That's for sure. It would be a way better place. And it's the things it can do to you physically and mentally is amazing. You're in a dark spot, you go do a workout, hit the bag for a bit. I've never not known anyone that's done a boxing workout that's left there and not happy. You know, like it's amazing. It is like boxing's the best sport in the world. I'll tell you right now.
Perfect, Demsey. Thank you very much.
Rambled on a little bit there, but yeah, it's hard to pin that one down.
No, Demsey, don't worry. Very good for Instagram, mate.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for your time today, mate, and we're going to get checked out on it.
Love it. So do I. Thank you. Cheers, mate.